Qiyas here, we said the dalils for Qiyas, we stopped on number 4. Number 5, here, Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, we gave the example of Umar on number 4, regarding the kissing of a wife whilst a person is in the state of fasting. And Rasulullah gave the example of water inside the mouth. When you're gargling the water at the time of wudu, okay, he gave that example. So he's making qiyas of one thing to another that is very similar. So therefore, just like gargling does not break your fast, likewise kissing your wife will not break your fast. Okay, just like gargling does not break your fast, kissing your wife will not break your fast. The only time it will break your fast is if the water goes down. The only time it will break your fast is if the saliva goes down. Okay, saliva of the woman goes down, not your own saliva. Your own saliva can't break your fast. Your own mucus doesn't even break your fast. Okay, so then we go on to another dalil for qiyas. A woman, she killed her stepson. Now she went to the court. Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he consulted with all the senior sahabas. The senior sahabas said, look, another person helped her kill her stepson, by the way. So a woman killed her stepson and another person helped kill the stepson. Okay. Now in this case, in this scenario, Umar radiallahu anhu and the Sahaba, they're saying, look, both have to be killed. Because why? They killed a human being. Both of them, they teamed up to kill that one person. The stepmother and the other person that was involved, that took part in killing the stepson. Umar radiallahu anhu was still shaken because we have to kill 2 people because those 2 people killed one person. He was a bit shaken. So Ali radiallahu anhu said, what about the example if 2 people took part in stealing a camel? Camel was something expensive, very expensive. What if 2 people stole a camel? Would you have to cut both hands? Ali radiallahu anhu is giving an example. Okay, giving an example to Umar. Okay, if these 2 people stole a camel, let's say in this day and age a car, a car, wouldn't both of their hands be cut off? Umar radiallahu anhu said, of course, yes. So then Umar radiallahu anhu understood. Just like both of their hands would be cut off if they steal something which is of extreme value, likewise, both of these people that participated in the killing of that one person, both of them have to be killed. Okay, in retaliation. This is only justice. So this is an example of qiyas, dalil that qiyas is valid amongst the Sahaba. Qiyas that Sahaba used themselves. Rasulullah used, Sahaba used. Okay, comparing one thing to one issue to another issue. That is very similar. The Sahaba made qiyas of the khilafah of Kubra. Khilafatul Kubra is leading people in their deen. Leading people in the deen in that day and age meant you're the Imam. Rasulullah appointed Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu as the Imam when he was ill, at the time when he was passing away, for approximately 17 days. Those 17 days that Rasulullah put Abu Bakr in charge showed that Abu Bakr is fit to lead. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu is fit to lead in the matters of religion, which is greater than the matters of the world. Matters of the world is much less significance, okay? Because matters of the deen continues to the akhirah, whereas matters of the dunya only remains until we die. Okay? So, here, Ali radiallahu anhu, so the Shias, unfortunately, they get a nice slap on their face, isn't it? Ali radiallahu anhu himself, he's the one that said, we are happy for our worldly matters with the person that Rasulullah was pleased for our deen. Rasulullah was pleased for our deen regarding Abu Bakr leading us in salah before he passed away. So therefore, we are more happy that he lead us in the matters of the world, matters of governance. Subhanallah. So this is in Tabaqat ibn Sa'ad, and therefore we put Abu Bakr ahead of us and make him our leader. And this is the statement of Ali radiallahu anhu himself. Okay, from the books of history. Subhanallah. So the Sahaba, very clearly from these examples, we understand that Sahabas, they themselves used Qiyas. From the verse of the Quran, the Mufassirin, the Fatabiru Ya Ulil Absar, all of them agree that this is regarding Qiyas, or can be used for Qiyas, as a dalil for Qiyas. We see that Mu'adh radiallahu anhu was accredited, was made, was allowed to make Qiyas. Okay, he said, if I don't find something in Quran and Sunnah, then I will make Qiyas. I will compare it to something which exists in Quran and Sunnah, and I will apply the same ruling. Okay, so these are some of the evidences, six evidences that we find here inside this book to prove that Qiyas is a valid proof of the Sharia, that all the Imams, or more or less most of the Imams, there's near practicality of consensus or agreement at least, that Qiyas is a valid source of religion. Okay, Qiyas is a valid source of religion. Now we go on to the conditions of Qiyas. So everything that is allowed has conditions. Okay, you can't just you can't just compare pears and apples. It's not going to work. Okay, you have to compare. That's why these conditions have to be fulfilled. Now we said Qiyas has asal, Qiyas has fara. Asal is that which is already found in Quran and Sunnah, like for example khamar. Khamar is made from grapes, something which is made from grapes. Fara, we gave the example of dates, something which is made from dates. Dates is not prohibited in Quran. The intoxicant that is made from dates is not found in Quran. For example, beer. Does beer exist in the Quran? Beer doesn't exist in the Quran. Okay, whiskey. Does whiskey is whiskey in the Quran? Vodka, is vodka inside the Quran? No. Okay, all of them are made qiyas upon. These are matters of qiyas. Something which is already existent, which is khamar, which is made from grapes, but the illa, the reasoning behind this prohibition is intoxication. Therefore, anything which intoxicates is haram, or becomes haram, which has the similar qualities of this, has to have the similar qualities of this, of the khamar. So firstly, the conditions that are linked to the asal. The ruling of maqis alayh is not specific with it. If the ruling of the maqis alayh is specific with it, then qiyas of something cannot be. For example, he gives the example of tahajjud salah. Tahajjud salah, ya ayyuhal muzammil, qum al-layla illa qalila. Qum al-layla is referring to who? Stand the night except a little. Referring to Rasulullah specifically only. Allah is commanding Rasulullah, for you tahajjud is fard. For you tahajjud is fard. For Rasulullah tahajjud is fard. Now, will the hukum of qum al-layla illa qalila apply to all of us? No. Cannot. Why? It's specific. It's specific to an individual. Here is specific to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tahajjud is specifically fard upon Rasulullah only, not upon us. Okay. Likewise, we have another example of something which is specific. Sayyidina Khuzaymah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. The normal ruling is, if you want testimony, it must be 2 males giving testimony, or 1 male and 2 females. This is in the Quran. Okay, for shahadatu ahadim is inside the Quran very clearly. Anyway, 2 males or 1 male and 2 females for you to accept the testimony of someone. Now, in one case, Rasulullah accepted the testimony of one person only, one Sahabi. His name is Khuzaymah. Now, why did Rasulullah in this case specifically choose him? And he said, this Khuzaymah, his level of trustworthiness is the same as 2 single individuals. I consider him to be the same as 2 single individuals. But this is a specific scenario. So you can't make qiyas on a specific scenario. Do you understand? Don't go off the topic. My topic here is we're learning qiyas. What is qiyas? So to be able to compare, you have to compare apples with apples. You can't compare apples with pears. So please understand this. Try to understand the reasoning of this. This is the whole reason why I'm going through this. One is just going through a hadith and talking about nice fada'il of the reward of this is this and reward of that is that. We've done that, alhamdulillah, in the past 3-4 years. But inshallah, let us understand the technicalities of the Sharia. Let us use our minds a bit. That there is some technicalities to the Sharia. It's not just hukum comes along. Okay, just because something is fard. How did it become fard? How did it become wajib? Why did it become makruh tahlimi? Why is not makruh tanzihi? You understand? Why is it makruh in the first place? You know, what's the hukum, what's the definition of makruh? Huh? Here, let's go through inshallah. So here, this was specific to Khuzaymah. So this cannot be applied to anyone and everyone else, no matter how pious a person is, no matter how great of a scholar a person is. Okay, this was specific. His acceptance of testimony for two people was specifically to Khuzaymah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Another example, or number two, that which is linked to the asal of qiyas is, for example, something to do with worship. Something to do with worship, you can't make qiyas. For example, the amount of zuhr salah, fard zuhr salah, the amount of fard asr salah, the amount of fard maghrib salah, the amount of fard fajr salah. This is stipulated already. This is fixed by the Sharia. This is something to do with the ibadah. You can't make qiyas of that to something else. Okay? This is something which is fixed. Same with zakat. 1/40th is fixed. There's no other interpretations for that. You can't make qiyas of 1/40th to something else. Okay? This is something which is fixed. Ibadah is fixed. Okay? Ibadah, the way that we worship, for example, even the way that we worship, stand, ruku, sujood, qawma, tashahud, everything is fixed. Okay? You don't see a Shafi or a Maliki do something else. We don't just pray salah only in the standing form without ruku and sujood. Your salah won't be valid, isn't it? Okay? Unless, of course, you've got a valid excuse. That's a different thing. That's a different masala. But the point is, here, that's the second one. The third one, the conditions that are linked to the original mas'ala that is found in Quran and Hadith is something which came before cannot apply to something which came after. Something which came before is wudu. Wudu was revealed before tayammum. Tayammum was revealed way after. Now, according to consensus, tayammum requires intention. Wudu, there's slight differences of opinion. Okay? Wudu, there's slight differences of opinion. You can't apply something which was revealed before to something which was revealed after. Okay, tayammum was revealed after. So you can't make qiyas of wudu, that intention is not necessary for some people, for example, and then apply it to tayammum and say in tayammum wudu, intention is not applicable as well. No, you can't do that. Okay? So that's another rule. Then we go on to the conditions regarding the thing which doesn't exist in Sharia. Okay? Here there's also three. There must not be any clear text or ijma' regarding it. If there is something which is already found in Quran or Sunnah or ijma', then you have to follow it. There's no option. Okay? Where there is no Quran and Sunnah, that's where we come and make qiyas. That's where we come and compare one thing to another thing. Okay? To find the hukum. For example, in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, if a person takes an oath, he has to free a slave. This is an example inside the Quran. It doesn't say a Muslim slave, a mu'min slave, a believing slave. But in the verse regarding killing another person, فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ, there's a specification there that doesn't exist in the oath. Now, can you make qiyas of a person who killed his specific فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ مُؤْمِنَةٍ? Can you make that on فَتَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ? You can't. This is a specific Muslim slave has to be freed in order for the person to be forgiven. Whereas in the other case, in the case of oath, he has to free any slave. It can be a Muslim, it can be not a Muslim. Why? Because Allah didn't stipulate it. Okay? Khair. So you can't come up with something of your own. Okay? That's what it is basically in qiyas. Another example he gives. For example, in Safar, when you are on travel, you are allowed not to fast the month of Ramadan. Fard. We're talking about fard fast, of course. But can you apply the fasting to Salah? You can't. Why? Ijma'an, Salah is compulsory upon you even when you're even when you're on journey, isn't it? Fasting is not necessary when you're on journey. So in the month of Ramadan, for example, if you go to Malaysia, for example, for less than 15 days in one place, is it fard upon you for you to fast? Not fard. If you want to, you can, but it's not fard upon you to do it because you're on journey. Because you're on journey. The point is that you're on journey. Okay. If you're not on journey, then you have to fast. If you're a mukim, if you're a resident, then you have to fast. You don't have a choice. But you can't make qiyas of not fasting for not praying. You understand that? You understand the case here? When you go on journey, just because you're not supposed to, you're allowed not to fast, doesn't mean you're allowed not to pray as well. You can't make qiyas of fasting to salah day. Huh? Likewise, and there's many other examples, inshallah. We'll go through more examples, inshallah, next week. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.